145th episode of Old Guys, Gentlemen Flippers. And today I'm going to be doing a review on something a little bit different for me. This is my first custom knife factory knife from Russia, although I bought it here in the United States. And it is the Anton Malyshev SSE Black Flipper. And it's got a stonewash blade and a stonewash titanium handles. Some of the specs. Well, first of all, I got to tell you, I really like this. And I've also done some mods on it. So I will get into those that I've done. But first, a little bit on the specs. Blade length is 3.74 inches. Closed length is 4.8 inches. The blade material is M390. There. It's got a drop point design, flat blade grind. As I said before, there's a fine stonewash finish on it. So that'll help to hide any scratches, which so far there are none. The thickness is, the handle thickness is like almost a half an inch, about 0.49 inches. Blade is a little thick, but probably about the same thickness as the Shirogorovs. And it is 0.14 inches, or 3.42 millimeters. What I like about this knife is it's a really pretty knife. It's simple in design. It has these milled grooves in the titanium stonewashed blackened handle. It's got nice anodized blue pivot screws, and also the same goes for the sculpted titanium pocket clip. And by the way, this I didn't have to make any adjustments in this like I normally have to do on a lot of these knives. It fit over my pocket really well. There is one adjustment. I'll get to that a little bit later. I really like the action on it. It's very Shirogorov-like. Maybe it doesn't fire completely open like the Shirogorovs, but it's pretty close. Actually, why don't we do a comparison? This is the 95T. And this one. Oh, it's probably like about 95%. It doesn't smack open, but it opens pretty quickly. Yeah, it's pretty quick. Just a little bit less than the Shirogorov. Let's put this back. The M390 steel is real easy to sharpen. This blade shape not only looks good to me with extra meat up here towards the tip to protect the tip, but the M390 holds its edge pretty well, and it's very friendly with the stones. It doesn't take that much grinding to get a edge on this. One of the complaints I had on this is that, oh look, there's my mouth. I use a wicked edge sharpening system, and it did a pretty good job on this. Sometimes I even have problems down here, but that was not a problem at all. I do sharpen this blade only, so I pull it out of this thing to make sure I don't gouge into the handle here, which I have done on some other knives. Even though you put tape on it, sometimes you end up working your way through the tape. Fit and finish is really good on it. It doesn't have all the fancy stuff that you might see on some more expensive knives, but this knife was only about 350 bucks compared to the Shirogorov. I forget the exact price I paid for this, but I think it was on the order of like 1,200 bucks or 1,000 bucks, somewhere in that range. So for 30 to 40% of the cost of that one, you get that nice smooth close, and it's about 95% of the smoothness of the other one, and a good fire open. So really good action on this thing. Pretty easy to disassemble. It's just the main pivot screw and then 2 screws here. Putting it back together is just a little tricky because this side is the cylinder side that is threaded on the inside, and because this sits here, when you're putting it together like this, these things want to fall out, but it's easy to work around, so it's not that big of a deal. The other nice thing is it's left clip or right clip. I have it tip up. I have it set up for right now, and it fits nicely in the pocket. And only this much shows out of the pocket. So I like all that about it. Things I didn't like about it is that the edge was not that sharp to begin with. But they usually all come like that, and I enjoy sharpening, so that wasn't a big deal. And of course it's very sharp right now. The action was really good when it came, but you could hear the detent ball rubbing against the stonewash finish, and it just slowed things down just a little bit. So, maybe it was 85 to 90% of Shirogorov action. So what I've done is I cleaned it all out. I'm using a nano oil in this because it seemed to work better than some of the other lubricants that I have. And I also spent a fair amount of time polishing the detent ball track on the tang of this thing. The other complaint I had was that it took a lot of force. And it wasn't a lot, but it took some force to flip it open compared to that 95T I was showing you. And so what I did is I eased the tension up by removing the stop here and then pushing this out this way. Oh, just a really fraction of a difference, like 0.2 millimeters or so. And that was enough of a difference so that I get real nice action, nice fire open, and I believe we're pretty well centered. The other thing that I don't like, I think this is the main thing I don't like about it, is that they made this lock bar pretty wide. Let me show you compared to like a Shirogorov or any knife. If you put any sort of finger pressure on the lock bar, for instance, on the Shirogorov, the detent in, you're not going to be able to flip it open. If you have a fair amount of space here, you can put your fingers in all the right places. You can grab it down here because you're not really going to affect the force on the detent ball here. And then here you can rest this on the pocket clip, and here you've got nice purchase on the bottom part, and then you're getting the opening that you're supposed to get. So when I first got this, there were a couple problems. One is the pocket clip here actually sat almost on top of this thing. So when I would go to flick it open, my natural tendency would be to go something like this, and that's not going to work there. So now I got to relearn on this knife to put my finger down here. And this one I would rest here, but because this was sitting on the lock bar, it would push in and make it hard to open. So what I did is there's enough play in this thing. Let's see if you can see this. You can't really see it that much, but there's enough play in this thing that by loosening the screws and then pushing the clip that way, and then retightening it while you're holding it in that position, you can keep the clip coming from touching this at all. So now I can put one finger down here, I can rest my other fingers on the clip and get a nice opening. So they could fix that in the design by just thinning this up a little bit And then maybe they wouldn't have to make this as deep either to get the same sort of spring action on the detent ball. But I'm not a knife maker. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I know how to make things work the way I like. So I think that's it. Really great knife. This will easily be in the top 10 of my knives. Probably just short of the Shirogorovs, but at a third of the price, it's really pretty good. And I'm coming to the conclusion that the Russians really know how to make knives. So for comparisons, this is the 95T. So if I line up blades, you see the blade here is a little bit shorter than that, but the handle's much longer, which is kind of interesting. It does look like a little bit longer knife in the hands. In terms of thickness, I think they're both about the same on the handle. Maybe this one's even just a little bit less thick than this. And the knives, this one's just a little bit thinner. So that's the end of the review. Hope you got some value out of it. And until next time, goodbye.